what if Florida beats Miami in week 1? It's not completely out of the realm of possibility. Miami is a slight favorite, about 3.5, which is pretty considerable on the road at your rival in a home opener. But if that happens, it's one of the most significant victories in the recent history of Florida football. Not because Miami's ranked in the top 20. Florida's had wins against top 20 teams. But given the perception of the trajectory for Billy Napier, this would have a lasting impact. And if it's going to happen on the field, it's probably going to happen along the lines of scrimmage. If you think about what Miami has solidified the last 2 years, offensive and defensive lines. That's Mario Cristobal's bread and butter. He wants to be great along the front offensively. He's a former offensive line coach. It should come as no surprise. But he also has already gone out and put a high priority on getting additions, not just in high school recruiting, but in the portal to fortify his depth along the defensive line. Well, if Florida beats them, it means their offensive line had a heck of a day and against an outstanding defensive front. Miami last year finished 12th in the sport against the run. Miami also thrived on negative plays last year, 11th in college football, forcing a negative play 11% of the snaps. So this is a very aggressive group. This is a very dynamic group. It means the offensive line clearly did a pretty dang good job. It also means that Graham Mertz probably took advantage of a secondary that, right now, I've heard great things, but it's still fall camp. Probably took advantage of a secondary that was somewhat gettable last year. They were 55th last year in pass defense. So Graham Mertz and his talented wide receivers, everyone's been talking about, well, Ricky Pearsall's gone. Who are they going to throw it to? Well, that means maybe Wilson had a big day. Maybe a couple other guys that they've added had a big day. Maybe Jacoby Jackson, who's filling in for the injured Montrell Johnson, maybe he was able to create some seams in the run game at running back and created a couple big plays. It also means, too, with the additions that Miami made offensively, Cam Ward, Damian Martinez, some of the holdovers from last year at wide receiver with Restrepo and company, some of the holdovers, maybe Florida's defense has made drastic improvement from where they were last year in year 1 under Austin Armstrong to year number 2. Now, they lost some pretty significant pieces. Princely Uman-Mielen's no longer there. He's at Ole Miss now. But they feel really good about the young players they played last year, how many true freshmen and first-year starters got tremendous reps last year. And they've been very bullish all offseason about the progress they've made. Well, clearly that progress is vindicated with a big win over a ranked foe, a rival in week 1. Now, how would it affect Billy Napier? I think it would take the monkey off of his back to a certain extent. People have already put him on the hot seat and all sort of stuff. I don't subscribe to that necessarily because I think he's got a good team this year, and I think they're going to get to bowl eligible. I think they're going to get to 7, and maybe it wouldn't shock me if they surprise some folks along the way. But wouldn't that cool things off quite a bit for Billy Napier? I mean, wouldn't that just kind of calm things down a little bit and kind of prove, hey, we might not be where we want to be, playing for and competing for SEC championships, competing for national championships. Maybe we're not there yet. And in year 3, you'd like to be, but we're moving in the right direction. And just trust the staff enough to believe that in time, they're going to be able to finally knock down the door, go toe-to-toe with some of their rivals in the sport, and potentially elevate to the point where they get to that championship contender status. And how would it affect Mario Cristobal? I think it'd be a lot of fallout from this game. I think this is the most significant game week 1 in terms of writing a narrative for each coach. Billy Napier loses the game. Oh, well, he's a dead man walking. Well, he wins the game. He's everybody's All-American. Same can be said for Mario Cristobal. He wins the game. Miami's back. He loses the game. Mario's can't get it done. I don't think either is true, by the way. I think Billy Napier could lose this game and still go on to have a really nice season. Miami's just that good. And I think Mario Cristobal and Miami could lose this game and still rally and end up making the playoffs. It could definitely happen with their roster and with the personnel they have on both sides of the ball. But people would immediately overreact to whatever the outcome is. And in this case that we presented, if Florida beats Miami in week 1, people are going to be suggesting that the Mario Cristobal experiment hasn't worked. It's not accurate, but that will be the reaction. It'll be strong, it'll be visceral, and it'll probably be unnecessary. But that's why we love college football. We care a lot and we overreact a lot as well.